Welcome to Success Superstars, episode number 226, your place for the blueprint of success for peak performers just like you. And my special guest, Greg McCoy. Greg, welcome.
Hey, Mark, nice to be here.
Hey, glad to have you. And we're going to do a little different twist. Every once in a while, I like to get a health and wellness expert, a fitness expert like yourself on the show and talk about how health and wellness really ties into our business and human performance.
Yeah, I was very excited to be here. We as health and fitness experts love to work with peak performers, and there's a lot of truths across peak performance in any field.
Right.
And then certainly being healthy and fit plays into the performance in obviously athletics, but the business world and just how you feel all day. So I'm excited to contribute.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've noticed in my personal journey is I call it the 5 words that kill more dreams than any other. I don't feel like it, right? So, maybe I don't feel like working out today. Maybe I don't feel like making my calls today. In the fitness world, as a coach, how do you get folks beyond the I don't feel like it?
Yeah, it comes down to discipline. And you have to be able to do things you don't feel like doing. And I think that's universal in successful people. The people that can wake up and do the things they need to do, whether they feel like it or not, are the ones that are going to be successful. And it certainly comes to working out, because even as a 15-year competitive bodybuilder, I don't feel like working out every day. It is something I enjoy most days, but there are the days that I just go punch the clock.
Right.
And those are the days that separate the people that are able to get the results that they want and those that are not.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And many of us, I think, like to avoid the word discipline. Mm-hmm. It really is. That's the distinction. It's the discipline. I do it because of the results, the reasons why, whatever that is. It's the discipline versus the feelings.
Yeah, no, it's all it. It's we've got it in our locker room, discipline over motivation. And so we preach that to our clients and members. And certainly with our personal training clients, we really drill them on it. And it's really neat. One of the more telling weight loss studies to come out in the past few years was from Oxford. And there's so many all these weight loss studies about what's the optimal diet to lose weight, right? And they've essentially determined there's not one. You just need to reduce calories, and how you do it is over enough time isn't all that important. What is important, though, they found the biggest success factors for weight loss were preparing meals in advance and daily checklist. It's those simple behavioral traits that do far more than maybe the perfectly laid out plan.
Right. Preparing in advance in a checklist. It's just kind of like, one of my buddies is a very experienced commercial airline pilot. Mm-hmm. And even after 25, 30 years, every flight, checklist.
Yeah.
Even though he could probably cite the checklist.
Sure.
From they follow the checklist.
Yeah, there's a book, Checklist Manifesto, I think it is, and they're talking with surgeons, because surgeons are big on checklists.
Right.
And the surgeons themselves say, if I'm going to go under surgery with a surgeon that doesn't use checklist, I'd be nervous.
Yeah.
It's you can only keep so much in your brain, right? And the more we've got going on, the fuller it gets. And so to be able to delegate that, get it out of your head onto a checklist is a successful way to do anything, but it certainly applies to health and fitness. And so we use an app called Habit Share with our clients. If you guys want to look that one up, it's great. It's free, and you can share habits with your friends, or for us, with your coaches. I mean, we let our clients see our own checklist. Holds us accountable. But yeah, it's, did I hit my macros for the day? Did I work out 3 times this week? Did I get 7 hours of sleep each day? And if you've got a lot of green for the week, it's successful, and you probably push the ball forward on your health and fitness goals.
Right. Well, speaking of sleep, one of our most popular episodes was Dr. Shane Criado talking about how sleep impacts everything in our lives. So maybe talk to us a little bit about sleep and the importance of sleep.
Yeah, sleep is one of the hardest, easy pieces of advice you'll ever get, right? To sleep more sounds like, wow, if it's that easy, because it plays importance in everything, certainly cognitive performance. But for us, we'll have clients that, maybe struggling to lose weight or gain muscle in the way that they want. And one of the biggest issues is they're sleep deprived.
Wow.
Because that's when your body is repairing itself. You know, you go into the gym, and you ideally, if you're doing things right, you're going to break down your body in a way that it'll grow back stronger. But if you don't get adequate rest, it's not going to repair itself, and you won't be fully recovered. You know, and it really just is like, it makes all the results better if you're getting enough sleep day in and day out. So it's some of the best health advice you can get. It's often the hardest to subscribe to.
Right. Sleep, and isn't the other part of that formula hydration?
Yeah,
Sleep and
hydration. Yeah, hydration is very big. It's, you know, you might be 5% dehydrated and experience up to a 20% performance decline. So yeah, a hydrated muscle is a well-performing muscle, and so hydration is big, and it's just going to lift your overall energy. You know, if you're well hydrated, one, it can help you actually be less hungry. So it fills some space, but you'll perform better. Your energy is going to be better. It's across the board, and those are two, you know, very easy things, but it's doing those small things consistently, checking the box day in and day out is where you're going to see the benefit versus hitting it hit or miss a few days a week.
Yeah. So as you think about your client base and some of the excuses or maybe some of the breakthroughs, what's the distinction between those that are, you know, have the excuses versus those that have the breakthroughs? Is there a distinction?
Yeah, it's really interesting because, like I said, you know, a lot of our clients are kind of top of the food chain in their network. These are high performing professionals. And so we start to see the carryover between these people that are successful in all different areas. They do a lot of the same things.
Right.
And prioritizing their health and fitness is one of them. It's just one of those things that it breathes energy and life into everything else that they do, so they see the value in it. But I think the biggest thing is it comes down to their consistency. If they are busy during their lunch hour, they wake up at 5 a.m. and they come work out. They make it happen. They make time. And I think that's something they're used to doing. That's why they got to where they are. And they apply that same discipline. Sometimes with coaching, you know, it takes us like to make them realize, hey, the same things that made you successful in your career path, it's the same carryover to here.
Right.
And once you can learn that it's really the same things and apply it to both, then they both get better.
Yeah. You know, one of the blogs I wrote, there was a study of some Olympic skaters, right? And the coach put the skaters out on the ice, and, you know, they maybe did 60 routines. Then he went out on the ice and he put a whiteboard, and they had to, he marked what they did. They went from 60 to 100. Then he took the whiteboard away. They dropped back down to, so there is something about accountability and working with a coach who's...
Accountability is a big part of it, and that's honestly a lot of times in a long-term personal training relationship, it's really what they're paying for at that point. Like, because we aim to, at Hidden Gem, we aim to teach our clients to not need us.
Right.
We want them to gain control over their health and fitness. So after a while, they know enough, but you know, they've got money on the line, which is an accountability. They've got someone, you know, Greg's gonna, where are you? They don't want to let us down. Right. So that is a big part of it. But yeah, it's really interesting to see. And you get into this topic of, you know, kind of looking for all these marginal gains, right? Like anyone watching this show is likely a high performer. You know, you're trying to get the most out of it. And so you're not going to find this big aha moment where, you know, you're doing something totally wrong. You're probably just trying to find, you know, pick up a few percentage points here and there. And certainly health and fitness is where I think a lot of people could gain significant percentage points towards their total performance.
Well, you know, we have a broad audience here, and through COVID, you know, maybe we got into some bad habits. Just starting a daily walk, right, could be a start. How would you advise the audience, you know, maybe if they just need to get started doing something? Yeah,
most people, the start is what stops most people.
Okay.
That's a coaching line we use all the time, and so you just got to get moving. An object in motion stays in motion. It's the same principle. So just get going. If that's subscribing to a daily walk, that's awesome. And once you're in that habit, and it's gonna it's going to pick up momentum. You're going to feel better from that, and you can't wait to get motivated. You got to get in there and do it. So, some people like to, commit to something big and crazy like a marathon, straight off nothing. That generally doesn't pan out, I will say from experience. Like to go from nothing to a goal that big usually ends in injury or frustration.
Right.
But starting these small steps, committing to something, seeing it through, and then taking it up a level is the most sustainable way to do it.
Yeah. When I was running, I've had an injury, but I started with 5 and 10Ks, and then I did about more than a half dozen half marathons, and then I did the LA marathon.
Oh wow!
So you build up to
yeah.
that.
So you progressed.
Yeah, and you progress, and it was a great accomplishment.
Yeah, but we generally advise at least 3 days a week of resistance training. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be a lot, but that's going to build muscle mass, which is going to speed up your metabolism. It's going to add some structure to your bones, which add bone density, especially for women, is extremely important. Mm-hmm. So at least 3 days of some kind of resistance training, and then 3 to even 7 days a week of cardiovascular activity is recommended for optimal health. And then that's kind of your baseline. And then obviously you can step it up from there as much as you want.
If you want to move into more elite status. Mm-hmm. Now, is there differences in age as we age? The average age of our realtor community is about 57. The average age of our JPAR community is about 40. But there are life stages and ages. Is it still a consistent routine no matter what age?
Yeah, that's a universal truth. The small things on a regular basis are much better than a heroic effort every now and then.
Right.
That's universal. But there are training considerations for those different age groups. At 60, you're probably training more to feel good, to make sure that you move healthy, for balance. Maybe you've got some aches and pains that we want to fix. Generally at 40, the appearance is a big part of the goal, right? So there's those different considerations, but yeah, we generally base our workouts based on movement patterns. So to make sure everybody can push and pull, carry something heavy, pick something off the ground without hurting their back, all those functional things that will make sure that you can make it through just daily life without getting hurt.
Even just basic, all of those things work on basic balance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Being able to balance yourself is just a critical skill that I think many of us.
And this is going far beyond 60, but we work with in the older population, being able to pick yourself up off the ground could be a life or death change. So to be able to have the strength and the mobility to get yourself up off the ground if you were to fall. Sadly, that's a story that can go wrong in older populations.
Yeah, for sure. So it doesn't matter what age, there's a health and fitness routine or thing for you. Well, any last words of wisdom for the audience before we wrap up this episode?
I think we hit the strong stuff. I would highly recommend a checklist. If nutrition is a challenge, which that's 9 out of 10 of us, right? That's the hard part. Exercise maybe comprises 6 hours a week, not a big percentage of your week. You're eating all day. So get in control of your nutrition and don't overthink it. Preparing meals in advance is probably the best advice I could give. You're intentional when you're preparing meals. There's portion control. You're not reactive at that point.
Right.
But yeah, and to get moving. Don't wait for this lightning bolt of motivation because it's not coming.
It's not coming. It's the discipline, right?
You're right. Once you get going, that motivation is going to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is there something about just getting started? And if they wanted to get started on your app, could they do that no matter where they're at in the country, or do they have to be here in Dallas?
No, we do the bulk of our training in person. We've got a location in Allen and Dallas and are currently expanding. But we work with remote clients all over the country and world. At one point we were doing a lot of international work. Now we're mainly in the U.S. But hiddengem.net, and we would be happy to help you with all of the above. There we go. Well, there we have it. There's our health and wellness episode. Stay hydrated and get in action. There we go. There we go. All right. Well, that's a wrap. And until we see you again on another episode of Success Superstars, may your choices reflect your hopes and not your fears.